create content that inspires you? Talent that is simply too dope to describe? Welcome to Fahrenheit TV.
Fahrenheit TV.
Fahrenheit TV is a live monthly variety show that showcases people's greatness through narratives and artistic expression.
We're back with a brand new season of content that will uplift your soul.
Tune into our live episodes here on BNN TV or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to follow us on social media to keep up with all our latest news. We hope that you'll tune in.
Hey Fahrenheit TV, welcome to another virtual episode. I hope you are well, you are healthy, you are finding joy and peace amongst these ongoing pandemics, and that you're having a great season of autumn so far. It's one of my favorite seasons because, I love all the fall colors, the hot chocolates, everything going on. But one of the things I missed the most before COVID came into our lives was Fashion Week, Boston Fashion Week, and just being amongst all of these creative during this, this time. But it also made me think of some of the, fashion models I've been blessed to, witness their growth, witness their greatness, both on the runway, in front of the camera, off the camera. These kings and queens have been doing their things, and one of them I am so blessed to know. Her name is Constance Luna Smith. I am so excited to have her on our show this month because she's going to be talking a little bit about her experience in the fashion world, her experience doing shows not only in Boston but throughout New England, really throughout the whole country. And it's just been so dope to see her growth, to see, her billboards and stuff, at Target and stuff. Is so dope. And we're going to be also talking about fashion and activism because I've been thinking that's kind of incredible to see how, artists in the fashion world have really stepped up their game, or, mainstream magazines have made more of an effort to talk about the ongoing, struggles and injustices of the world. So it's going to be it's a really cool conversation. I was so blessed to talk to her, and I hope you enjoy this conversation. One of the biggest lessons I learned from Luna is to persevere, stay fierce, but persevere. Stay tuned for this amazing interview with the Constance Smith.
Fahrenheit TV.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another virtual episode of Fahrenheit TV. I am your host and producer, Farah June, and today I have the queen, Constance Smith, with us on our October episode, and I'm so honored to have this beautiful, inspiring leader from the Boston area out here just glowing up, ripping runways, doing her thing, being on ads and posters. I mean, I could go on and on and on because obviously I'm a fan, but thank you so much, Constance, for being our guest. Welcome to our virtual show.
For having me.
Of course. So Queen, before we get into talking about your career, in fashion and being a model and all the other incredible things that you do, I just wanted to check in with you because you just shared with us that you live in Brooklyn now, and I know in the beginning of the COVID pandemic, that was the hot spot and everything. So I just wanted to kind of check in and see how you're doing. How are you able to find peace during this whole pandemic? And yeah, just see how you're doing.
Well, I'm good. I actually moved in the middle of the pandemic, so that just tells you a lot. I just couldn't do it anymore, and with everything going on, commuting back and forth didn't seem realistic. Just for the fact that I couldn't use the bathroom. I didn't want to keep going back and forth on the buses because the buses aren't actually enforcing social distancing.
Oh my gosh,
people are sitting next to each other.
What? I guess.
Mask or no mask, that's not 6 feet.
Oh my, I know, that's not even safe. They must be desperate for money out here. I just, what I mean? What? Especially from going from one crowded city to another crowded city, it's that's definitely not safe. So that's crazy. Wow. I am really happy that you're now settled into a new home, that will, bloom even more opportunities for you that you deserve to be around.
It has, but how I keep my peace is just the space I keep, it tends to get messy, but I have things around, I'm very big on colors, so anything that can pop out, boost up my mood, I'm all for it. But the other side of quarantine, like having to be in the house and all that stuff, that doesn't really bother me. Like I've always been a homebody. Like everyone thinks
Oh,
that I'm
good.
super extroverted. Like I need to be outside. No, I'm
Mhm.
content in the house.
Well, that's a good surprise to know because I would have thought you were extroverted too. Because every time I see you, you have like such a colorful like spirit, and you're very like with the people and everything. But it's good. It's good to know that you have that other flip side, and I'm
Yeah.
glad because it's been crazy. It's been like 8 months since this thing happened. It
Oh.
flew by.
It was
Jeez.
only supposed to be what, for 2 weeks in March?
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm like, oh wow, I guess we're in fall now. Well, this is interesting. But I'm glad to hear that you found peace and that quarantine didn't bother you that much. I feel you. I'm in the same lane as you because I could be either or, but I
Right.
really love my me time and my like personal space. So
Need that
yeah.
balance.
Yes, exactly. And especially the color. When you said color, I was like, oh, obviously she has a red lip on, so we need pops of color in here. So I wanted to before we talk about like your emerging career and all the great things you've been doing, because I'm gonna put some photos in this interview so people can
Yes,
see the
Sarah.
glory, you know what I mean? Like, hello, that's a person I know that met in Boston.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask you, before you became a professional fashionista model, what inspired you to get into the fashion world? Like, do you remember, like, was there any like fashion icons you looked up to, or shows or anything that made you be like, you know what, I see myself in this industry?
Right. Well, I like to say that I've been modeling since birth. Like even like
Yes.
old like family photos, you can see me messing with my mom's makeup, wearing her heels, putting on my
Mhm.
grandmother's, jeweled dresses. I've always been
Yes.
for like the theatrics and the fashion and the styling.
Hmm.
But it's so funny every time I talk about this. So when I was in the third grade, I was in middle school around the time when America's Next Top Model started.
Yes, that was my
Oh,
show. I watched it
yo,
religiously. Like,
yo. I didn't watch all the seasons, but I watched the foundational
yeah,
seasons.
me too. Like probably the first like 7, 8. Like the foundation, like you said,
Yeah,
just the middle of the
and
show.
then I would pop back like, oh, okay, I know that person.
Yeah.
But what was very inspiring for me was Takara.
Oh my God, I
Takara
love
just
Takara.
she put it in my head like, girl, it's
Season 3,
okay.
I believe. I think,
Yep,
or
yep.
even season 2 or 3, one of those. Yeah.
It was one of the earlier seasons, and when I seen her doing what she was doing, I was just like, this is it.
Yeah.
And I was in third grade at the time, like I said, and my best friend, I was like, I'm gonna be a model, and he was like, I'm gonna be a musician, and it
Love
just
it.
so happened that we both followed down those paths.
That
Regardless,
was.
whatever toss and turns we took, we
Mhm.
still ended up doing what we said we were gonna be doing.
I love it. The universe brought you guys into each other's life for a reason and like keep you guys accountable. Like, okay, you're gonna be a musician, I'm gonna be a model. We're gonna go on this journey. Yo, that's so dope to hear. Wow. So since third grade, so I have a feeling you're gonna meet Takara if you haven't already,
I will say
because
if I ever meet Takara, I was actually supposed to, and I
mhm,
missed my bus to New York that day, and I was crushed.
oh my
But
gosh, it's gonna happen
I will
because
faint.
like the way you said it, and it's just because I remember her on that show talking about the importance of girls seeing themselves in her, and seeing, not only for her size, but her color of her skin, the texture of her hair, everything, her personality, you know what I mean? That's what always made her one of my favorites, because I loved her personality. She was just unapologetic and just funny and just really just a joy to be around, like one of the realest too on the show. She wasn't about that fakeness. And so it's incredible to me when she's talking about all this, and she doesn't even know that there's little girls like you at that time, you know what I mean, looking at her like, yo, I want to be just like Takara. That's beautiful.
But what I love about her is like you said, she was just authentically herself.
Hmm.
Granted, it was like the earlier times of reality TV, but
I know, you know.
granted, towards the end, before she got eliminated, you could tell she started to feel the pressure,
Oh
but
yeah.
make it known, like, she could have left at any point, but she stayed,
Hmm.
and that's what's kept me kept me grounded in this industry. And it's like, you know what, someone's gonna tell me no, but I'm gonna find another way to say yes. Like, you have to keep pushing.
Amen. Amen. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because I was gonna ask you one of those questions, like you being in this industry and being the unique beauty that you are, right? And it's almost seen as an alternative beauty, whenever you don't fit the trend, whenever you're, your skin color, your hair texture, like you always wear your afro out, which I love. Like, you talk about when you look at the car, when I look at you, I'm like, this queen on this billboard has the same crown as me.
Out. I
Oh
feel
girl, no, we gotta protect our crown, so you ain't got to explain. Yeah, protective styles to make sure our hair stays good. We gotta switch it up. But anyways, in the ads that I be seeing of you, like, you always wear your fro, and to me, when I look at that, I see myself in you. You know what I mean? I see, like, I love that. And being in the industry, it's really fun, of course. Fashion, like, of course it's fun, but it could be stressful when you're this alternative beauty. So, like, how else have you kind of, not only keep yourself grounded, but kind of like overcome some of those adversities that may come your way?
So I have a very, like, close-knit family that keeps me on point. Because I'm the type of person, I get offended very easily. And I like to respond, and sometimes I need to, like, catch myself, because it's like, come on, Constance, like, you can't just be talking crazy to everyone.
Yeah, but you're just like defending yourself, you know what I mean? I get it. I'm sensitive too, so I understand.
So when I've experienced adversities, sometimes it doesn't hit me at first, like, especially when the whole Black Lives Matter movement really started to push, and I had a lot of people reaching out to me asking me, like, what my perspective was as a Black model, let alone an Afro Latina in the fashion industry. Like, what have you experienced in terms of, like, makeup artists, hairstylists, fashion style. Like, I've experienced it all plus more, but I can't, how can I word this? I can't carry it.
Yeah, of course. I understand.
It's not my burden to bear. And I wouldn't be genuine to myself or authentic to myself and, telling everyone on my social media platforms to live their best life if
you're not doing the same.
Exactly. And it's like, yeah, it bothers me. I don't advertise it at all on my social media. I don't feel like I should bring that energy to my story. But no, it's like, I'll experience it, whether it's delayed or not, and then I'll process it and I'll move on from it. And if it happens again, I know how to handle the situation. I don't feel like, because there have been certain situations where I've been on sets and I feel uncomfortable, but I don't want to say anything, because when am I going to get this opportunity again?
Yeah. That must be a very difficult thing, especially if you're a person that's very vocal, like you said. That must be a very difficult thing to kind of keep that in, because you don't want to ruin the opportunity, not only for you, but for future, future people that are going to come after you. You know what I mean? So I definitely understand that challenge with that. But another thing I thought that you just said, I think is really important, is that, like, we can't always just also be victimized by our circumstances. You know what I mean? Like, you showing up anyways, you know what I mean? You demonstrating your Black joy, your Afro Latino pride, all of that is resistance, is revolutionary in itself. So I think that's a beautiful thing, that you're like, you know what, obviously you can't hide from these things. They constantly happen, even when they're not in the mainstream media. So it's really inspiring to me that you go anyways and you keep on moving forward, because that's what Takara did. That's what all the other, people
have to show up.
Yes.
My nerves can be in a ball. I can be literally vomiting before I walk on a set, because I'm so nervous. And once I get on there, it's like, okay, it's time to work.
Yeah. And I love that. And I remember one of the posts that you put on your, that kind of made me think of this question, because it's like, you brought it up, like, right? So there's been Black Lives Matter protests has been happening during this entire pandemic, even before this pandemic. We're very familiar with it. And it's been very interesting to me to see, like, the role of fashion in activism, right? Like, the way, like, not only people are making, like, Black Lives Matter masks for people to wear, but, like, I think people are becoming more aware of like where they're investing their money. You know what I mean? Like, is this brand, does it match my values of what I believe in life? And it's been really interesting for me to see that, because I'm like it's refreshing in a way. You know what I mean? Like when I'm looking at like mainstream magazine like Vogue or anything like that, and they're talking about Black Lives Matter, they're talking about social justice, systematic racism, and all that. I'm like, wow, finally, this is stuff that I could relate to. Yeah. So
I love that they're presenting this topic, this discussion to their audience who otherwise wouldn't have known.
exactly, they wouldn't have known it unless they talk about it, or you know what I mean, or it's a big news. And but one of the things that, like, I guess scares me or makes me nervous is because I know fashion is all about trends, right? Whatever's trendy. Even you being a model, it's like sometimes they find you as a trend, like you know what I mean. And that's the challenge in itself, is trying to like keep that career being like long and forever, and not just a trend when they want you to be popular and popping. Which you could talk about that more if you want to. But do you feel like they've been doing enough, or is there more that we could do in fashion in terms of inclusion and equity?
I don't even think we've like fully started. There's been baby steps that have been done, but
Mm-hmm.
no real work has been done. Everyone's talking about inclusivity, diversity, power
Mm-hmm.
in numbers. Where's the union? Where's the unity? Where are we coming together and working for the greater good, pushing for community? Like,
Exactly.
and I take honor in collabing with other models and influencers to push
Mm-hmm.
messages and work together and collab on projects to spread awareness for things that are always ignored. Like,
Exactly.
it's not even like no one is aware of it. It's just like, if it doesn't personally affect you, then you don't care.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it's like, this person is close to you. Like, just take that into consideration when you're forming your opinions, speaking out on things, because you don't know who's watching.
Exactly. You don't know who's watching. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what 2020, I mean, I feel like some people have to realize that it's kind of forced us to kind of wake up and see the things that we keep pushing under the rug. Like, oh, it's not my problem, it doesn't affect me. Well, like, no, it's in your face now. Now you have all the time in the world to
Woo!
see what's going on.
This year definitely brought a lot into perspective for me. Even before the pandemic, I was already, cutting cords with things, removing
Mm-hmm.
things from my life that didn't serve any purpose. Um, because I'm here to inspire, to motivate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to be put in a box. I don't like to feel like
Yes.
my wings are being clipped,
Mm-hmm.
Granted, for as long as I've been pushing to want to model and make a career out of this,
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to say I'm in a place where I can support myself. I don't have to worry about working a 9 to 5 or do anything of that sort. But it's just like, imagine if I stopped.
Yeah. And that's the power, I think, of this interview, and like of you as an incredible, I think you're a leader. Because that perseverance to just keep going, you know what I mean? Because it's like you're bound to like face challenges anyway, especially when you really want something. Like, I feel like the universe is going to be like, all right, let's see if you can get
That's
through this
true.
hurdle, this hurdle, you know
Right.
what I mean? So you saying like, yeah, now I could support my, that's a big amen and blessing in itself. It's hard for us, as young people, to like, make moves like nowadays, especially because it's so competitive. It's just a lot going on. So I'm very proud of you.
It's just, if it's something that you really want to do, you're going to do whatever it takes to do it.
Hmm.
And you just have to release that fear. Whatever works best for you, to release your fear and just step out on faith, or
Yes.
whatever you believe in, because the outcome afterwards, I can't even put it into words. It's just something you have to experience for yourself. Like, being scared, feeling like you need to stay in your comfort zone, like, that serves whomever you're trying to take care of. It doesn't serve them, and it definitely doesn't serve you. Like,
Amen. Speak on it. Yes, I love it, because if you think about it, we're here to like not only walk for our own legacies, but people who are coming after us. So it's best that you make sure that you're aligning whatever you want to do in life with for your vision and not somebody else's.
Right.
Yes, that's a big amen. And
Mm.
so before I move into more talking more about like your career in fashion, I wanted to ask you, is there anything you think we need more of? Because I know you said that we're not doing that fashion industry is not doing enough. What do you think there's something that they could do to make this more authentic and not a trend in fashion in terms of like,
I just think that when, lookbooks are released or new campaigns are discussed and implemented and shared across the masses,
mm-hmm,
that it's done with intention and genuine intention. Like, it's not like, oh, okay, like for instance, like Pride Month.
mm-hmm.
Every brand wants to throw a rainbow on something, and suddenly they're in cahoots with the LGBTQ plus
For only
community.
1 month, only in the month of June. I don't see this happening year round.
A lie.
Yeah.
And even especially now in September and October, which is Latinx Heritage Month.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, does anyone want to hear my story after this? Like,
Exactly.
are you gonna need me again in February?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm not discrediting the opportunities that I'm being interviewed, but it's like,
I understand. Yeah, it's like if you really care, you should care all year round, every day, not just when it's just popular or a trend, which is like,
exactly.
yes, yes.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love bringing awareness to the spectrum of my culture,
Mm-hmm.
Black, Afro Latina. It's like, not everyone's gonna look like me. Someone's gonna be darker than me. Someone's gonna be lighter
Amen.
than me. But it shouldn't just come down to physical appearance and like whatever traits you have.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, I don't need to prove myself to you. I don't owe you anything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Exactly. Period. And so speaking about, Latinx Heritage Month, which I'm glad like they're changing it to Latinx instead of Hispanic Heritage Month. What does that mean to you as an Afro Latina? I don't know if is there any like, traditions that you and your family do, or is this just like a time for you to like more appreciate your culture a little bit more? Or because I don't know, like I know like sometimes I ask people like, how do you celebrate Black history? Like, well, I'm Black every day, so I celebrate every day. So
Well, to be honest, I've never really celebrated Latinx Heritage Month, or anything like that. But the Independence Day for Honduras is September 15th, which
hey, it just
starts the
passed.
celebration of the month.
Yep.
So for us, September 15th is like New Year's. So that's like the ultimate turn up.
Hey.
Soccer, everything.
Everything, yeah. You even got the colors on your nails, of the
That's my
flag. So I was like,
goal.
hey.
Um, but yeah, that's usually how we celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
It's like maybe a week or 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Parties, dinner, different things. It really just depends on what's going on, because
Mm-hmm.
usually around that time, like the veteran soccer team usually has like a dance, and people come in from California, New Orleans,
Traveling?
everywhere. But this year it's just like nothing's
For
happening.
chill, yeah, because of
Everything got on
Corona.
hold. Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't feel the same. I honestly, I don't even think I did a post on September 15th. It just didn't feel right.
Yeah, I know everything has been very different because of like COVID and oh man, but I'm glad that nonetheless, even with that going on, you still have a really, a close-knit family that, you can celebrate your culture every day with. So I think that's a beautiful thing. And is it important to you as an Afro-Latina to make sure that that's known whenever you're doing like, a fashion campaign or,
Yes,
whenever you're doing
yes,
bookings and stuff?
yes. Because I don't want to take anything away from myself. I'm just not, Hispanic. I'm just not Black. I'm both.
Yes.
I can't take away from it. Like, just like what I was saying before, having to prove myself. Like, when I tell someone, because when people look at me, okay, I present as Black.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really know the intricacies of Hispanic countries, of Latin America,
Yep.
you'd be like, okay, I see it. You're from Honduras.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
that's not it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't just pick and choose.
I love that. I love that because it's a part of you. You can't, you're not, like you said, you don't like to be put in a box. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're more than just one category. You know what I mean? You fit them
Exactly.
all. Okay, that's what real queens do. Okay.
But don't get me wrong. When I first started using the term, because it's fairly new.
Yeah, it probably like maybe like several years now, but not.
Yeah,
It wasn't when I was growing up. I
no,
was like Afro
well,
Latina. I never heard of that before.
what's
People weren't really even embracing it either. So,
Oh, when I was younger, you would not see anyone saying they were from Honduras if they were darker skinned. You would
at
not see
all.
anyone speaking Spanish. Like if they were
Mm-mm.
darker, they were picked on. Like when my
Mm-hmm.
mom first came to this country, she stopped speaking Spanish and she dropped her accent because she was getting picked on.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And that's just like such a sad thing because you see like even 2020 we're still having to deal with colorism. We're still having to deal with ignorance and it's just ridiculous to me. I'm glad that like, our generation is pushing forward with these conversations and be like, no, that was wrong and what you're doing and use these terms and making things more inclusive, but we have to do so much better. There's still a lot more work to do. That's your mom shouldn't have to do that. Being a queen that she is from the island itself, that she has to drop her own language, her native tongue, just to make somebody else feel comfortable about her blackness. That's just insane.
And it's like stories like that. Like I take so much from my family members. Like when they share their experiences with me, I like actually listen to it and I absorb it,
Mm-hmm.
like granted that was their experience, but I don't want to experience. And if I
Mm-mm.
do, I know not how to better handle it, but I don't know, whatever works for me. Like,
Mm-hmm. I think you knowing those stories and you knowing that kind of like resilience that's in your DNA, that you carry that forward with you, and that's why your pictures always come out so confident and strong. It's because you know who you are. I mean, I'm pretty positive like we're all still growing and still figuring
that's
out who we
something.
are, but I could tell that like when I see that picture, that's a confident young woman in front of me. You know what I mean? And I think that all of those backstories, it's like you're kind of, when you're in my mind, when you're like modeling, you doing your fierce poses and stuff, it's like you're kind of carrying all of that legacy and history with you. It's like you're modeling for your family, for your community. You know what I mean? I love that pride. That's beautiful. That's awesome. So around this time too, like you, if it wasn't COVID, I'm pretty sure you'd be even busier than you already are, because
Yeah.
you have like Fashion Week, that like, well, New York Fashion Week was like last month, but during this like time, there's a lot of fashion shows going on, either in different cities, universities, all places around the world. So like, do you remember your first fashion show? Like how you felt, what you wore? Can you like kind of take us back, a little throwback to that moment?
So,
Or even your first photo shoot, whatever you want to share with us.
um, I would say like my first official fashion show
Mm-hmm.
was Boston Fashion Week.
Yes.
And like it was something that I wanted so badly, because it's like, no one's gonna give you any recognition in Boston if you haven't walked on an official Boston Fashion Week show, or
Amen. Yep.
you haven't networked with as long as you haven't yet jumped through all the hoops, no one in Boston's really gonna give you any recognition.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So when I was chosen for the fashion show, it was only 2 plus size girls. So I was like, okay, we're in here, but where's the
Mm-hmm.
rest of us?
Yeah. I have a feeling, I've talked to other plus size models and they've said the same thing, that it's always kind of like a sad thing when they're like, there should be more girls that look like us here, and guys too. We always kind of leave out the guys, but yeah.
That's actually what deterred me from Boston fashion scene.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't feel appreciated. I didn't feel respected,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not gonna stay anywhere where that is
The energy, of
the
course.
energy. Um, but no, it was Boston Fashion Week. I walked for like maybe 2 or 3 designers, but I just remember wearing this like really beautiful gown.
Mm.
And the host at the time, when I walked up, he was just like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful." And
Yeah.
one of the hosts for that show was Eva from America's Next Top Model. And we
You're
talked.
Eva was the chorus for girl. You're in the ring. You're going to meet her. We're putting this in the universe. If you met Eva the diva, there's no way you ain't gonna see Takara. You're gonna see her when you least expect it. And I hope you make a post or say something that's like, girl, I told you were gonna see her.
It's gonna be the ultimate fangirl. Like, I'm just gonna be like.
But yeah, so when you met Eva, were you still kind of a little starstruck? Like, oh my gosh, I used to kind of watch you.
I was just like thrown off that she was talking to me. Like, I'm used to Eva, but she didn't come off as the nicest on the show. Like, you know.
No, I know she was a diva. It used to be like, oh my gosh, Eva.
But like when it was like a few words exchanged, but like she was just complimenting me, and I'm just like, thank you.
You're like, wow, I can't. It doesn't seem so unreal. Does it, in a way, did it seem kind of unreal?
Just being at that show felt unreal.
Wow.
Because so many people have told me, like, there's no point in you modeling. It's not going to go anywhere. No one wants to see someone that looks like you. And it's just like a full circle moment. Like, I wish I had like a camera crew that followed me to just capture it all in my reactions, because I was just stunned.
Yeah. I think maybe that was the universe and the ancestors' way of showing you, like, girl, all those people that told you no, I told you you're going to see your yes. And again, we go back to perseverance, because if you had listened to those people and took in everything they said, because it's like, we're going to hear criticism, right? No matter what you want to do, especially if you're a creative person, you're going to hear criticism. But if you were to believe them, that would have... when you said it, I was like, damn, I wish I was on that camera crew with you, because I would have loved to see your reaction and to kind of get your thoughts right after that. Like, so do you kind of remember, like, right after that, like, going home, like, was, like, stuff running through your mind at all?
I remember, and I'm very big on, like, signs and symbols.
Me too.
So that night when I was leaving, it started to pour.
Wow.
It was raining.
Yes.
Raining. And I'm like, this is blessings. Like,
it is.
Anytime I travel or do anything, it always rains.
Yeah.
And then I forgot I had to go somewhere after. My sister had started a nonprofit because she has lupus, an autoimmune disease. So she was holding like a mixer or something. And then I get there and I see like this like really well-known photographer in there, and he goes, I've never spoken to the man. I didn't even know who he was. And he comes up to me and he introduces himself to me. This is like, where was I? Outside of TD Bank, North Garden.
Okay, around there, yeah.
He walked up to me on the street, like, so my God, I know you. And then he like pulled up my Instagram page, and I'm like, yeah, I guess that's me. What's up?
Oh my God. Yo, you see how God be working? And you're over here just minding your business, probably trying to get to the next, trying to get to your sister's thing.
I was just rushing to get there before it closed, because the show ended at like 9:00.
Yeah.
Boston closes at 11:45.
I know, everything's mad early. Wow. So that was just and I'm with you, because I remember like it used to rain all the time for certain things. My mom used to say it's a blessing, so I like took that in since I was little too. So when you said that, I'm like, that really was like that was just like a whole night full of unexpected but had to happen things for you to realize, like, yo, you're meant to be where you are. Like, your purpose is valid. Whatever what you're doing, it matters. Wow. Oh my gosh. So do you think, like, since then, do you like prefer to do runway or print work or a little bit of both? And do you feel like your confidence has grown since that magical moment?
Oh yeah, my confidence has definitely grown, but it's also humbled me as well. Just for the simple fact that I'm able to see like what I do want and what I do want to do and what I don't want to do. But I also like the flexibility where I'm able to dabble with different types of modeling, commercial, runway, editorial, beauty, like fit parts. Like there's so much to modeling. Like there's not just like one, one thing to it. So I'm grateful for that. But runway has always been my heart.
Yes.
I love walking runway.
I got to witness this, everybody. I just want to just chime in real quick and just say that that's where I met this beauty at one of, I think it was Boston Caribbean Fashion Week.
Yes,
And I
I
was
love
like, yo, like that is a forceful, powerful beauty walking down,
walking.
and it's just like strutting to every like. I remember they had like obviously Caribbean music playing, but it was like to every beat, and I'm over here trying to like, all right, I should be getting dressed, but let me just see this magic, like yo, and it just, and I love that about you. Like, I hope to see you even more and more runways. When COVID, once we get a handle, hopefully people wear your masks. When we get a handle on this, then we'll be able to have those big shows and everything. But I have a feeling that this is just the beginning.
Fahrenheit TV.
How did you feel when you saw that banner of you, at the store with your beautiful face and like,
I was screaming because I literally had to go to like 20 stores before I found my picture.
what? Oh my
Yes.
God.
So the first store I had all this excitement, like, okay, I'm walking right directly. I know where it's at. Wasn't there. The second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and then the final one, like I started screaming in that store. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on?" And of course, I'm with my sister. My sister's like, "She's a model for Target."
Yo, at Target, yo, like that. Oh my God. Like I was so beyond excited. I'm over here in my seat, but like you are seeing you. Did you imagine that? Like, did that ever come to your mind? Like thinking about, watching Top Model to now seeing yourself. You like,
I told
oh.
myself, like, granted, it's a goal of mine to have a storefront campaign. Like, I would love to walk into South Shore Plaza to Lane Bryant and see my picture just in the window.
Mm-hmm.
But when I've thought of brands I wanted to work with and stuff like that, to be honest, Target never crossed my mind. And when my agent told me the first time that Target wanted to work with me, I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was on the site and everything. And then a year later, again, to be in the store, I'm like, look at God, just
Yo.
working. But to be honest, a lot of this still hasn't hit me because in
Yeah.
the midst of me doing it, I'm still going, like trying to figure everything else out. Like life just keeps happening.
Mm-hmm.
And when I seen it in the store, it was reassuring, and I was just like, wow, like I did it.
Yeah. But
But oh,
I
it
can
really
imagine. Do you feel like this year has kind of given you some time to kind of like realize the great things that you've been doing? Because I understand, like, when you're working, you're like trying to get to the next thing to do that you're like, oh, this is awesome, but I still got work to do. Do you feel like, quarantine, having a little bit of time off in some ways gave you that time to like realize, like, yo, I really did this? Like,
definitely. Granted, with quarantine, I haven't really had a break. I've been working more with during quarantine,
oh, wow.
but I was doing a lot of like virtual panels and
Mm-hmm.
conferences and interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And why I love to do interviews is because it just brings light to things that I didn't really realize. Like
Yes.
the interviewer has all the questions, and I read over the question. Okay, I didn't think to speak about that, but let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about it. I'm very transparent. I'm very open, and I like to talk about things. Like if someone has a question, I don't hold back.
Mm-hmm.
But
I love
yeah.
that. Okay, I just wanted to ask you a question. So I know you love fashion. You talked a little bit about like your fashion, like idols and stuff like that you watch on TV. So if there was like, say one day you could work with any fashion icon, any person, living or an ancestor, and you needed to create like a designer line. Obviously you're gonna be modeling in it, but like, you need to create a designer line or whatever. Like who would that fashion icon be, and can you describe what kind of you know I don't know what kind of vision you would want to bring to life.
Honestly, I would want Andy Warhol to shoot me. I don't know who the stylist would be. I don't really know who the theme would be, but I just would love for Eartha Kitt to be there to read me for filth. I will be okay with that.
You said Queen Eartha Kitt.
Yo,
I'm so glad you brought that ancestor into this space, because when we talk about unapologetic, hey, okay.
It's crazy that I brought her up because I was talking to someone the other day. Like, when I was growing up, I gravitated towards Marilyn Monroe because I wasn't fully aware of, the Dorothy Dinches and the Eartha Kitts. And then now it's like I threw all my Marilyn Monroe stuff away. I don't need that anymore.
And it's not our fault because they don't push that towards us. Like, we should see equal, like, all the merchandise I see of Marilyn Monroe. And there's no shade toward her.
Woman, I would have bought the black woman instead of Marilyn.
Exactly. And Eartha Kitt, her career, her essence, she's a beauty herself. Like, oh my gosh. And it's because the mainstream doesn't push that beauty again, you know what I mean? And it's just like, it's so sad. And that's no shade to Marilyn. I'm just saying we need to see all sorts of beauty, you know what I mean? All sorts of greatness.
Marilyn got enough flowers, really.
Yeah, she should be good. But Eartha Kitt, I never heard of that before. Like, I love that answer. That's one of my favorites. It's gonna be Eartha. Jeez, I could just imagine. Like, I feel like she'd be like doing like sound effects during the photo shoot and stuff. And her style too was very like, oh, she was a beauty. I think that'd be so dope. Whatever you guys create, I want to buy it. Put me on the waiting list. Like, and then Andy Warhol. Why would you want him as a photographer? He's incredible, but like, I'm so used to his like photography of like doing like, items and stuff that maybe I just haven't seen him like doing photos of like actual people. Not yet. I need to do that research, but that'd be so dope.
It's kind of more like poppy.
Yeah, pop art.
Loud. But I love stuff like that. Like, I'm very creative. I like scrapbooking and vision boards, and I just feel like, I don't know, kind of make like a mosaic out of me.
Oh my God, that'd be so like, that is such a really cool and unique concept. Oh my goodness, if only we could just make it all happen. But it could be. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Oh my God, that'd be so incredible. Wow. So I know, I'm coming up to an end because I know you got other things to do, but I kind of wanted to ask you, what are your aspirations in life? Because I know you said, you're still growing this modeling career, but is there anything else that you feel comfortable to share with us that you want to do? And how can we support you as well?
Yeah. Outside of, just continuing to push forward with my modeling, it's definitely not the end all be all. It's definitely foundation for more. I do love fashion. I do love styling. Everything that needs to be put into it. I'm just an avid learner, like photography, all that stuff. So
yeah, definitely all around creative.
Exactly. I definitely want to have my own. I would love to collab, with major designers or even brands to have my own, little collab, launch a few pieces.
Yes.
I can see it. Right.
I can like when you were saying it, I was like, I can see it. I like, for some reason I saw your face in my imagination when you were talking at like Sephora for like some kind of new beauty thing. Like, that was one vision. I saw that. Like, I could just your picture that you're like so fiercely posed in. I mean, they're all so fiercely posed, but this one is like a beauty shot. Yeah, I see your beauty. I see your beauty campaign. I think that would be perfection. But then I also see like the other bigger things you're talking about. Like, I could see you being on a stage, being like, "Welcome to the blah 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 something something," and we're all so happy to be here. And everybody's all dressed all beautifully, and everybody's spending money. Like, this is great.
See, the thing is like, I don't want to just limit myself. I want to experience all that I can experience, and just my past experience, being able to use it towards, the greater good. Like, I have my bachelor's in criminal justice. My plan was to go to law school. I never made it to law school though, but I still feel like I'm advocating for things.
Exactly. And you never know. You got your girl got a degree, BA. Okay, let's come through with the BA up in this conversation. But that's a beautiful thing that you said. You are advocating for stuff, and school ain't going nowhere. If you ever want to go to law school, it'll be a choice if you want to do that.
That would be a drastic change.
Yeah.
I don't trust myself because I already know my mouth, and if I'm in court, like, no.
But I think everything you're doing will come full circle.
I couldn't imagine being a lawyer right now, and I give props to a lawyer, a cop, anything in public service. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure, because it's a very straining job, and they don't get enough thank you. So I think that's a beautiful thing to say.
Honestly, this is not me saying anything in acceptance of anything else that's going on. Mm-hmm. But everyone is not on the same side. Everyone can't be held to the same, degree. Like,
yeah, of course.
Someone because of the job they chose. Mm-hmm. Be more proud that they're continuing to show up and do their job.
Exactly. As long as they don't abuse their powers, and I think that's what we're fighting against, people who are abusing their powers. So I think that's a beautiful thing to say, and it's important to say. Yes, and I love it. So, how can we support you? Like, do you have anything coming up that we could look forward to? Any virtual shows? Anything that we could follow and support you at?
No virtual shows, but I have been working my little tush off all summer. Basically, I'm still releasing stuff. I just released a influencer collab with 3 other influencers for a fashion to figure.
Nice.
But definitely support following my social media, Instagram, Luna Modella. That's basically the main platform that I'm on right now. It's the only one I can handle at the moment. It's too much.
It gets overwhelming.
Be an influencer because I cannot do it.
Yeah, no, for real. And so, is there a way that we could, because you were just talking about the thing that you collaborate with all those people that you mentioned. Is there a way that we could get involved with that, or like watch whatever you guys created, or?
I'm in the process of like posting all the pictures now on my social.
Okay, nice.
Like if you follow my social media, it'll just link you to everything.
Yes. So we'll be putting her handle right here in the bottom of the screen, so you could definitely follow this queen. I just wanted to say thank you so much again for taking the time to talk to us, for sharing your story and, some of like the challenges that come your way. And I think it's important for people to hear that coming from, a Boston native, someone that was in our community and, is continuing to grow in her career and herself and everything. And I think it's really like a beautiful thing to see that kind of empowerment and that confidence and everything bloom, and you just doing your thing in the fashion world. Like, you are making moves iconic, just like Beverly Johnson did for like Tyra Banks, and you know what I mean, like you really are, like when you saying like you might not say like things that like you encounter when you're in these situations, like when you're doing a shoot or whatever, and you want to say something but you don't want to like ruin the opportunity. Like, just know that like we understand, and that like you are still advocating, just showing up anyways, you know what I mean, and doing your thing. I think that's very commendable, so thank you for being you.
So much for having me, Farah.
Of course.
All the blessings and success.
Yay! To us both.
Right. I love that you were able to adapt with COVID and continue pushing with the show.
Yeah. Thank God. Thank God for technology. It's been a blessing. So, yeah, thank you so much. And we can't wait for everybody else to hear this story. But everybody, please, please, please follow Miss Constance Smith at Luna Modella on Instagram and your other social media platforms. We'll be putting all that information here. And please follow and support our Boston, leaders and artists who are just doing their thing out here, just shining. This is just the beginning, guys. So we gave you, we were blessed to have you on our stage before you on bigger stages. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Farah.
Fahrenheit TV.